speaking of investment, so Berkshire Hathaway, which is managed by one of the greatest investors of the world, Warren Buffett, is completely shedding all of its investment in Wells Fargo, the banking institution, since way back in 1989. So more than 30 years of partnership with the company here. So they have already sold most of their investments in the company here. And question is why? Why are they doing this? Obviously, if you're not familiar, Wells Fargo has been a big stable in the United States, but due to bad decisions from the top management, led to a lot of scandals and the reputation being shattered due to simply mismanagement and so forth. Now, what's interesting here, the company, or in this case, Berkshire Hathaway, is abandoning more than 30 years of their investment with the bank for mistreating its customers. Not just the customers, but how it dealt with the crisis when it appeared. So, just to give you an idea, so Berkshire owned a little over 26 million or 26.4 million shares, which is considered a lot. But despite that, they're willing to sell most of it or all of it because of the issue, as mentioned, of the bank's reputation was shattered when revelations surfaced that employees facing aggressive sales goals opened millions of unwanted accounts, charged unnecessary mortgage fees, as well as forced drivers to buy car insurance that they did not need. So, meaning, obviously, for any business, in this case, the banking institution here, is trying to generate profit to bolster their performance, to appease the shareholders, right? But up to what extent? Now, obviously, what they did here is going to the extreme here in terms of, if you're an employee of the bank and if you don't generate sales in any means possible, so you can reach a certain quota, you will be fired. I think that's the worst case scenario. So obviously there are unintended consequences, good and bad. And in this case, more bad consequences, which is trying to create unwanted accounts, some even to the point of creating fictitious, which uh, what what happened to the wildcard scandal last year. So meaning setting a high unrealistic expectation can lead to severe actions from your employees to the point of stealing, lying, fraud to your customers, and like in this case, so charging unnecessary mortgage fees. So obviously, charging more benefits the company in the short run, but obviously in the long run, you destroy the relationship built up with your customers here. Another issue that they mentioned is the forcing drivers to buy the car insurance that they did not need. Now, obviously, you need insurance to protect yourself from injuries and accidents and so forth. But if you try to keep on adding certain features that you don't need, then that's just what they call it. That's just padding your sales here, which is not good for anyone, whether you're the customer or you're the company here. And obviously, according to Mr. Buffett, he mentions that what they're doing here is considered dumb, and they shouldn't be doing this in the first place. And he mentions that the incentive system was slow to make things right. So the incentive system is not working, which is counterproductive. And the point here is, even though they knew they were doing it incorrectly, it took them a long time to change course and so forth. So it was mentioned here. Let me see, where was it? Yeah. Uh, yeah. So the issue here they mentioned is that the big thing is they ignore it when they found about the situation. So obviously, according to Mr. Buffett, and I think it makes sense for majority of us that you absolutely have to attack the problem as soon as it occurs. Obviously, you cannot avoid encountering problems, but if it's self-inflicted, then it's on you. And once you do encounter it, obviously, you try to solve it. And when you knew about it and delayed and did nothing, that's even making the situation worse. So that's what happened here. And obviously, whatever happens to Wells Fargo here, will they still be, you know, in the business in the near future? Who can tell here? And You know, if anything is an indicator here, if a big investor like Berkshire Hathaway is dumping your shares here and other companies were to follow, obviously it can only go south very, very fast, whether that's within this year or next year or the year after that. But hopefully they could change course and find a better recourse in what their actions here.